Everyone, in today's lesson we're going to look at phrases you can use when you're dating someone, you want to date someone, when you're making friends, or when you want to make friends. And the way this lesson works is there are two people speaking, one person says something and the other person replies. So let's start here, and all these examples are things that a person would say if they met somebody they didn't know before at some kind of class. I suppose it depends where you live, but in London there are so many different kinds of classes you can go to, from exercise classes for things that are artistic, dance classes or photography classes, many classes that are based on interests. And that's a really good way for meeting new people. And it seems like many people date that way, really. They go to the photography class because they want to meet someone to date. They're a little bit interested in photography, but they just want to meet new people. So that's how it works in a place like London. If you live somewhere where there's not so many classes, perhaps these kinds of conversations wouldn't be so common where you live. But these are the kinds of conversations you would hear in London if you went to a dance class, a salsa class, that kind of thing. So number one, is it your first time here? You've met someone, you want to continue the conversation with them, get to know them a bit. You can say, is it your first time here? And the person replies, I come most weeks. Or they say, no, I come once in a while. Once in a while means not every week. I come 1 week, then 3 weeks later I come, in an unpredictable way. Number two, do you come here often? This sentence or phrase, this is an innuendo. So it is a kind of phrase that many people would avoid using if they didn't want to be really direct and show that they were interested in someone in that kind of way. So if you just want to be friends with someone, maybe you wouldn't say these exact words. Do you come here often? So here are the replies. Not as much as I'd like to. Today's my first time, or it's my first time today. Or you could say, I'm a regular. A regular is a person who goes to the salsa class every single week. They always go. So that's being a regular is the opposite to a person who's just going for the first time today. Number three. So how long have you been coming to this photography class? About a year now. Number four. You could say, do you go to any other classes? Now this question could mean any other similar classes. If, to use the salsa example again, because salsa is quite a popular hobby, I suppose, to do, in a city like London there's more than one salsa class and people really into it. They've probably tried different salsa classes, so they could ask that question to you. Do you go to any other classes? It means, do you go to any other salsa classes? But it could also mean in general, depending on how you're asking. So it could be, well, I'm at salsa today, but I do embroidery on Wednesday, or whatever else you do. Here are the replies. Sometimes I go to the other one in So to use a place name in London, I could say, sometimes I go to the other one in Brixton. For me to answer that, it means I'm talking about the same kind of class. And I could also say, this one is my favorite. I mean, this salsa class that I'm at today is my favorite of all the other salsa classes. Or I could say, this one is my local. And that one suggests, I come here because it's the easiest one for me to go to. Another example of that would be a yoga class, because there are so many different yoga classes. Perhaps some people prefer to go to the one closest to their house. So they might say that. Next, we've got, how did you find the class? Now, when I use the word find there, it doesn't mean how did you find the building or how did you get here. It means more like, what did you think of the class? Was it interesting for you? So we can reply this way. I really enjoyed it. It was good fun. Or we could say, it took a while to find my feet. Or I could say, it took a while to get into it. And they mean almost the same thing. It means, at first I wasn't sure, but when I did it a bit longer, I got more comfortable. They mean something like that. Number 6, you could say to the person that you're chatting to, so will you come back again? Because maybe you enjoy talking to them and you would like to see them again next time. And they can reply, definitely, it was great. Or they could say, I think so. It depends on whether I get to leave work early next week. Or you could say, most probably. It's not a very certain or strong yes, but if you're not sure if you'll go back 100%, you could say that. And the last example here is, I will if I get the chance. So this example is much less certain than the other examples here. If I get the chance means if it's possible in the future, I'll come. Not 100% decided yet. So we're now going to look at more examples for making friends and dating, things to say. Now we're looking at phrases you can say when you want to stay in touch with someone. You met someone new, you like them, and you hope to see them again. You want to stay in touch. People who come to London, for example, and they didn't know anyone when they moved here, they can often find it easy to meet new people because all you need to do is go to one of those classes. You can speak to people, you can meet new people. But then they struggle with the staying in touch part. They just meet new people but don't really make friends. These phrases will help you go from acquaintance, someone you just said hi to, possibly towards being friends. Number 7, the person could say, it was nice to meet you. Would you like to stay in touch? And the reason that there are 2 sentences in this phrase is because if you want to see someone again, rather than just hitting them with the question, as in, do you want to stay in touch? You can take more time and say why first. So you can say something like, it was nice to meet you. So it kind of gives you a reason why you want to ask. And they can reply, sure, are you on Facebook? A lot of people will swap Facebook contacts for someone that they only just met rather than their telephone number. I think it depends on a lot of factors though, the person's age and where they met. Let me know in the comments what you think is the most common contacts to swap in that situation. Number 8, at the end of the class or meeting, wherever you met the person, you can say, "It's been nice chatting to you. Are you on Twitter?" It's almost the same as the example before, except we've changed the first sentence. This one's a little bit more relaxed, I think. "It's been nice chatting to you. Are you on Twitter?" And they can say, "No, but you can take my email." They might say that because they prefer being in touch that way by email, or they might say it just because they're not on Twitter. Number 9, they say, "It was good to chat. Do you want to swap numbers?" And you could say, "I'd like that. My number is blah, 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 blah." Or you could say, "That would be good. What's yours?" So you start off taking the number, or perhaps you just take their number. Another example, "Let me take yours instead." With some people, that's what they'll say, because if you take their number, you're more in control of whether you actually call that person. So some people will always prefer to take the number rather than give a number. Or you could also say, "Here's my card." Generally, if someone swaps a card, it's because there's some kind of professional relationship there. They've met through a work situation or something to do with their job. And it does seem to be getting, well, maybe it depends on the people you know and the social circles you move in, but it does seem to be getting less common doing the card swapping things. Sometimes people might say LinkedIn or or Twitter, depending on what social network they might use for their job. Number 10, "Do you want to give me your number?" How this one is different is because of the word want. It changes, although you want the same thing, you want the person's number, this word want, in my mind, changes the meaning quite a lot, because if you say yes to this, you have to admit that you want their number. So I think this way of asking is, depending on who asks it, they can be quite confident in a sense that they say, "Do you want to give me your number?" Because this kind of question, it's easier for someone to say no to as well. So they'll only ask it if they have high confidence that you'll give the number to them. So here are the replies. "Okay, let me put it in the sense, I'll put my number in your phone. Sorry, I've got a boyfriend." Sometimes women would say that if they want to say no, could be true, but they could also say that if they don't feel comfortable directly saying no to you. Next is a woman or man who can't make up their minds. "Yeah, no wait, give me yours." So they don't want to give you their number, they want to take your number. And that's quite a clever way to turn that around. If you don't mind giving them your number, but you don't want to say you want to give your number to them, you can say that. "No, you give me yours." Next example, "Yeah, we can go for coffee." And that suggests the next step, what might happen next if you exchange the numbers. And the last example here is, my battery's run out. You could say that because you don't want to give the number. You could say that because it's true and you'll have to write it down, or they'll have to take yours, or you could say that because you don't remember your number, so you can't write it in their phone. Depends. Number 11. Have you got a card? And I already explained earlier that's more of a business kind of situation. Here it is. And yours? No. But put it in your contacts. Oh no, I don't have a business card. If you know your number, you can just tell them and they can put it in their contacts inside their phone. Contacts is the same as address book, but inside your phone. Number 12. How about I take your number? This one is a little bit suggestive, I think, as well. This one comes to mind as if it's more of a dating situation. And the person could reply, Facebook would be best. If you don't want to go to phone numbers with that person because you think it's too familiar or too soon, and you would like more distance, but you don't mind knowing them, you could say Facebook would be best. And that indirectly means I'll stay in touch with you, but I don't want you calling me up for long chats every day, kind of thing. And the last one here, I know we've only just met, but I'd really like to stay in touch. You would say that if you really met some amazing person that you just, maybe love at first sight or something like that. It's a bit over the top for people you just met in the yoga class that you didn't really connect with. You wouldn't say it in that situation. You could reserve it for those really special moments in life where you meet a great person. We've got more examples coming up next. Number 14. You've met someone, you want to stay in touch with them. They can say to you, what are you doing now? We could go for a coffee. And you might say, another time perhaps. I've got to get home. A different day, maybe yes. But generally the real meaning of this is not really. Another example. We could get a quick one. Yes. A quick one refers to a coffee. It can also refer to a drink, an alcoholic drink, a quick one. And if you say a quick one, it means, yeah, I can do that now, but I can't really stay long. It will mean just one drink or short. We won't stay there for hours. Number 15, we're going for a quick drink if you fancy it. And I've used we're here because what sometimes happens in those group class situations is that even when it's finished, some people stay in a kind of group. Maybe they know each other and they see each other regularly every week. So that's who the we are is, the group of people that already know each other. And this time they're inviting you to come with them, to carry on after the class or wherever you met them. You might say, who's going? You don't know those people, so maybe you want to find out first to check if you'd be comfortable or check if you want to go there, wherever the next place is. Or you might say, maybe next time. I'm shattered. When you're shattered, you're really tired. Again, this might be true, or this might be a polite no. I don't really want to come. Next, these are things people might say in a chance meeting. A chance meeting can be a situation, not that these happen all the time, but you meet somebody that you really want to stay in touch with. Or a chance meeting could be a person that you used to know years ago and in an unexpected way you met on the street or you met at some event. Here are things that you could say. I've got to run, but let's swap contacts. When you've got to run, you're in a hurry, you're in a rush, you can't stay long. And when you meet someone by chance, it wasn't planned. You didn't plan to meet that day, so you might not have time to chat to them. So you want to quickly stay in touch. But again, as with so many of these examples, sometimes people are not sincere when they say that kind of thing. This is an excuse that they need to go, so they might not necessarily call you. Depends on the person. Number 17. I have to go, but give me your number and I'll invite you for a coffee. I have to go. I've got no choice. I didn't expect to meet you. I have to go. Sorry about that. And I'll invite you for a coffee. Sometimes people say that, and that means when you invite someone for a coffee, it means that you're going to pay. And yeah, some people would say, I'll invite you, rather than say, we could go for a coffee. It's more like extending an invitation, something to do in the future with that person. Number 18, imagine you met someone in a situation where you did feel in a hurry because you're a bit hungry, or you've been at work all day and you're really hungry, and maybe you would like to carry on the conversation, you're enjoying it, but not in that place and not in that situation. Perhaps you want to move on to the next situation, and in this time you're hungry. So you can say, do you want to grab a bite to eat? So we'll go somewhere that serves food so I can eat. And if I say grabbing, it makes it fast as well. We're not going to spend hours. And also, it generally suggests that it's not going to be somewhere really expensive, because somewhere really expensive, you take more time about eating. Number 19, they could say to you, you're welcome to join us tonight. We're just leaving in 5 minutes. So again, here I'm imagining a group of people that already are together. Perhaps this would happen in a bar situation. Someone is with their group of friends, it's a birthday party or something, and they have got talking to someone who's not part of their group, but they like each other and would like to continue hanging out with each other that night. But because one of them is in a group with other people, it's rude or impolite to leave them, so they can invite you to come. And you say how long to give you notice that if you want to come, you have to decide now. This is a spontaneous kind of thing. Maybe you'll come, maybe you won't, but you have to decide really soon. Number 20, I'm going to blah blah on Thursday. You should come. If somebody says you should come, this is a way of inviting people somewhere without taking the risk that that person won't come. If you just say that, you wouldn't be so disappointed if they didn't come to the thing, because you didn't directly ask them. You're just giving them the idea, and if you see them there because you're going there, you would be happy about it. But you have nothing to lose. If they don't come, maybe they were busy. You didn't ask them if they were. So for people who find it hard to invite people places, they might use that one. Number 21, I'm hosting a dinner party on Saturday night. Can you come? There's a plan happening soon in the future. I'd like to stay in touch with you. here's something we can do soon. I want to see you soon. And the last example here, number 22. So great bumping into you. We should get together again soon. When you bump into someone, you didn't expect it to happen. This would be someone you've already met before, perhaps somebody you used to know years ago. And you can say, we should get together again soon. It could be genuine, sometimes not. Sometimes people are just being polite and they'll say, yeah, let's do something, and it won't really happen. If you think about this situation, perhaps there was a reason that you didn't stay friends or stay in touch, and the reason could be that you were not really that close or that special to each other. So next we've got even more examples. Okay, now we've got planning an activity with a person that you've met. You want to see them again. What will you do next time? Number 24, listen, I'm going to an amazing party on Saturday. Want to come? This is really direct, and I imagine in my head someone who is quite a popular person and they do exciting things and you've met them in a spontaneous way, and that's why they're saying, listen. Now, I can't take all day to tell you this amazing thing, but I'd like you to come to the party. Want to come? And we say want to come rather than want to come, or do you want to come? So this is informal speech. Number 25. You might have an idea of something you want to do together, something like going to a museum or art gallery together. There could be a local event that you would like to go to with this person. So you can say, have you ever been to blah blah? I'll take you there sometime. So you could say, if you're in London, have you ever been to the South Bank? Or have you ever been on the Millennium Wheel, the big Ferris wheel? I'll take you there sometime. Next, we've got questions that you can ask when you're getting to know someone. And you use these kind of questions when you want to deepen that relationship that you've got. In order to deepen how well you know each other, you need to find out more about each other. So you can use these kinds of questions to get to that next stage of your friendship. Now, the thing to realize about this, and all countries of the world will be at a different stage in relation to this. In England, there are so many families that are split up, families that don't fit the mum, dad, and 2 kids image. So when you start asking all these family questions, of course, English people do ask each other these kind of family questions, but sometimes it can be a little bit sensitive when, for example, someone from a really traditional country starts asking the English person these kind of questions about their family. It can be almost embarrassing if the family is like all split up and there's loads of stepchildren and your dad is gay or something like that. So it depends on. It can be embarrassing for the English person to answer the question, not because they're embarrassed about their family, they're just kind of embarrassed about how different their culture is to your culture. So just something to bear in mind about asking the family kind of questions. Number 26, are you married? They might say, I've got a partner. A partner, sometimes people prefer to use the word partner. It doesn't necessarily mean, they don't like to use the word married. Partner is more a term to use when you're a bit older rather than boyfriend or girlfriend. Or if you've been together a long time, a lot of people say partner rather than, it sounds more serious than boyfriend or girlfriend. Number 27, do you have a partner? And again, some people might ask that question, partner, because in a country like England, people don't always get married. They might be together for a really long time, but not necessarily married. So people would say partner. And again, they might say, do you have a partner? Because the other question to ask is, do you have a boyfriend or do you have a girlfriend? And that, in politically correct language and all those kinds of things, you don't necessarily know that person's sexual orientation. So you might use the word partner to avoid those kind of issues. They can say, no, I'm divorced. That means I used to be married, but we ended it officially. We're not together now. We're divorced. Or you might say, not at the moment. That kind of means I would be open to it. Number 28, do you have kids? The reply, no, but I have a stepdaughter who lives with us. What this would mean is I don't have kids of my own. So for example, I've never had a child myself, but I could live in an arrangement with a partner where my partner has a daughter and she lives with us. Number 29, where do you live? They might respond, in North London. I've experienced this question that sometimes people say it, where do you live? And there's a sort of moment of slight embarrassment after they say it because they feel like really nosy to ask you that straight away. So people sometimes give a more general answer than specific. If you say in North London, that's quite a big area with many different places. If you say somewhere specific like Tottenham, I suppose if you say specifically where you live, it's maybe getting to know that person too close for when you only just met them. Number 30, where are you from? This question is different to the previous one, where do you live? Because where we are from isn't necessarily the same place where we live. So if you ask me that question, I can say London, I'm from London. And sometimes let's say you live in England, you live in London, but you're not English, you're not from here. Sometimes that question will mean to you, what's your original country? Where are you from? So the answer in that sense is, I'm from Poland. Number 31, where are your parents from originally? That question, it seems like the most natural way it would be asked in England. I think in America they say, what's your heritage? It means the same thing, where are your parents from? But it's not a common question over here in England. And that means because of how you look, your skin colour or whatever, or your accent. No, it wouldn't be your accent because it means I can see you're a native in terms of how you speak English or whatever, but your race, they want to know about that. So they say, where are your parents from originally? And then you can say whatever country, or you can say my mum's from blah, blah, blah. Next one is, what's your job? I'm a teacher. Number 33 is, what kind of music are you into? I'm into rock music. Number 34, do you cook much? And the answer to that would be a few times a week. That is a question of frequency. How often are you cooking at home? You could also say, I don't cook that much because I eat out a lot. Whereas the last question here, number 35, is, do you enjoy cooking? And that's more about your interests. Yeah, as if it's one of your hobbies. Yeah, I really like cooking. I like to have dinner parties. I do it on a Saturday. So this number 34 is more about your routine. What do you do in your day-to-day life? And number 35 is more about what are your, I want to get to know what your passions are, kind of thing. So there's lots of things you can say when you're getting to know people. And what you can do now is our quiz on what to say when you're meeting someone in a dating or getting to know someone situation. Thanks for watching. Bye.